let's finish the video.
All right, section 3, the blessing hierarchy. Let's talk about how meals are actually structured. Because let's be real, we usually don't just eat one isolated food, right? We eat meals. And in Jewish law, some foods are considered way more central to a meal than others. The ultimate anchor of a Jewish meal is bread. But before you even bless the bread, you have to prepare yourself with a ritual called Netilat Yadayim, or hand washing. You fill a 2-handled cup with water, pour it over one hand, then the other. You recite a specific blessing while drying your hands. And then, and I just love this detail, you remain completely silent until the bread is actually blessed. It's this beautiful symbolic cleansing that elevates you and sets a mood of quiet reflection before you eat. This distinction between a meal with bread and a meal without it.
Now, if you sit down for a meal and wash your hands properly, then you don't need to make any other of the 5 blessings, because that's considered a meal. So if you sit down, that's why, like, for example, on Friday night, many people will sit down together. They'll make kiddush. After kiddush, they wash their hands with the wash basin, eat a piece of challah, which is the bread. After making a hamotzi, when you wash the hands, you make a asher, you make a Netilat Yadayim, and then you make a hamotzi. So there's 2 blessings when you wash your hands. Then you eat a piece of bread. Then for the rest of the meal, there's no more blessings, because the bread takes care of everything.
It changes the whole shebang. Because bread has such immense historical and ritual importance, it acts like a giant catch-all. If you wash your hands, sit down, and say hamotzi over a piece of bread, that single blessing covers all the other foods in that meal. The meat, the potatoes, the salad, you're good to go. But if you're eating a meal without bread, well, then you actually have to say individual blessings for the different food categories sitting on your plate. Which brings us to section 4, rules for mixed foods. Here's what happens when you start combining those categories.
Section 4.
So what does happen when you combine categories without having bread? Well, let's look at the banana split exception.
So the banana split. So right off the bat, right, we have bananas, we have ice cream, we have caramel food coloring, and a cherry on top, right? Delicious, by the way, and whipped cream. So first of all, before we get into the blessings, this is obviously a very delicious snack. So what do you guys think is the blessing on this? Yum, yum, yum. Delicious, delicious. What's the blessing on this, though, right? It's a halachic, it could be a halachic nightmare, potentially. So the easy way to approach this, because I'll tell you right off the bat, there's a shahakal, there's a banana, which is already complicated on its own. But, so banana itself grows on a banana tree. The rule is that fruit in general is ha'etz, and vegetation that grows on the ground, for example, in bushes like a tomato, will be ha'adama. So right off the bat, on the banana, you're going to have a ha'etz. On the ice cream, you're going to have a shahakal. On the caramel strawberry drizzle is going to be a shahakal. The whipped cream is going to be a shahakal, and it will be chalvi as well. It will be milchig versus fleischig. Milchig and not fleischig. So we're also going to categorize, later on, we're going to categorize foods into dairy or meat. But right now, dairy and meat are both shahakal as a blessing. So on the banana, you're going to make a eitz. On the ice cream, you're going to make a shahakal. On the cherry, you're going to make a ha'etz, because it's a fruit. So now you don't make 2 ha'etzes and you don't make 2 shahakals. You just combine it into one. So in a situation like this, you take a bite of the banana, you make a ha'etz, and then you take a bite of everything else and make a shahakal, and you're done. Any questions? So what blessing, comprehension check, what blessing would you guys make on something that looks like this banana split ice cream sundae? And then we'll call it a day. And I'll see everyone in class tonight at 8 p.m. Hello, does anybody know? No. Hope Joy doesn't. Okay, that's fine. Kate Ayala is asking for fruit for everything. So you make two blessings on this. Because there's two primary blessings, right? And the way to make it easier is to break it down. So you see sugar, right? Sugar is shahakal. So right off the bat, the ice cream, the whipped cream, and the drizzle is going to all be shahakal. It's just one big sugar bomb. So right off the bat, you know that the ice cream, whipped cream, drizzle is shahakal. Then the cherry and the banana is ha'etz. So you make a ha'etz, you make a shahakal, and you call it a day. What about water? Let's make this even easier. What would you guys do for water? That's okay. That's why we learn. So what blessing do you guys make on water? Yes, very good. Shahakal. Okay. Let's finish the video.
Absolutely love this
And
one. Usually, if foods are mixed, you bless the primary
see.
ingredient and that covers the secondary ones. But with a banana split, Jewish dietary experts, like the OU kosher certification, note that neither food is subordinate to the other. The banana is literally just as important as the ice cream. So you actually have to say two blessings, ha'adamah for the banana and shahakal for the ice cream. These rules get incredibly detailed, but they exist for a reason, to keep our mindfulness really sharp. For instance, if you're eating an apple and a pear, you only need one ha'atz blessing to cover both tree fruits. Or what about buckwheat? Fun fact, it's not a grain, it's actually a legume, so it gets the ground produce blessing, ha'adamah. Eating chicken soup with noodles, you're gonna need
One second, I think it paused or something. But yeah, so you guys get the idea, right? So water will be shahakal. Fruit will be ha'etz, etc., etc. Make sure to review the lesson on school.com. And I'll see everybody tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, perfect. All right, blessings.